All right, you clicked on shame. No shame in me wearing the same sweater for a lot of these videos. Shame. Shame is, oh my gosh, it's that place inside. I heard an acronym years ago, like should have already mastered everything. Shame really, in psychological terms, and I'm not a therapist, but shame, if you really boil it down, it's like I'm fundamentally broken. There's something fundamentally wrong with me. If I had been born with the ability to perform just right, my mom or dad wouldn't have treated me the way they do, or my friends wouldn't be so unkind to me. I would feel more loved and accepted if I were different. That's shame. If I were different, I'd be more loved and accepted. Oh, it makes me want to cry because there's so many people walking around feeling defunct, feeling defective, feeling like they've got to jump through hoops to be loved. Fuck. What hoop are you trying to jump through? Like, think about shame. It's kind of like that feeling of like you're in the corner and you're curled up and you're like, oh, I feel so ashamed I say these things to people. I feel so bad that I am who I am. That's shame. And what do you do when you're shaming yourself? You hide. You don't express yourself. You're not putting yourself out there to anyone. You'd rather stay in the comfort of your home and do what's comfortable. You know, what feels secure and safe. So I think shame robs us of a deep sense of safety within ourselves. You know, young lady, you should be like your sister and get better grades. That's shame. If you'd only been different, your husband wouldn't have left you. If you hadn't have been so angry, Renee, your husband would still be here with you. I don't know any of that to be true, but I can carry it as if there's something defective in me. There's not. I think shame probably taught me more about how to open myself up and feel these emotions that I talk about. You know, without that wanting to go inward and hide and be introverted about life and not want to really express myself and feeling rejected. I mean, geez, that was heavy. You know, and here's what I did with shame. And you tell me, you know, you can email me or you can whatever, but it does put tears in my eyes, because here's what shame felt like. I would present one way to the world, like I had my life together, like I was this confident, well-put person because I would dress to the nines and, you know, have it all together. And inside, there was such a deep sense of insecurity. And we'll do insecurity on these videos too, but my shame would prevent me from really showing you who I was. Because inwardly, I remember a memory when I was 5. I had a therapist ask me this a long time ago. That's your first memory, go for it, don't think about it. And it was kindergarten, finger painting. Look at, you know, like I'm really into it, right? I'm finger painting, I'm having the time of my life, and all of a sudden I looked up and I looked around to see if I was doing it like everybody else. And I wasn't. I was being my own unique, beautiful little self at 5. And because I wasn't doing the finger painting, having more blues than the browns I was doing, or whatever it was. Sorry for the Kleenex, guys, but you don't want snot running down my nose. No shame there. You know, I carried that with me for a long time of thinking, am I doing it right? Am I doing it well enough? Will you accept me? Because my finger painting, when it gets hung up on the wall, is going to look different than everybody else's. I think I just want it to be like everyone else's, so I feel like I fit in. Shame will tell us that if you don't fit in, there's something wrong with you. And it's simply not true. So how do you work with shame? This is a little bit longer video because shame is hard. What shame do you still carry around would be the greatest question you could ask yourself. Where do I shame myself? Where do I feel like I should have already mastered everything? That I should find perfection in my day, and I should know the answers ahead of time, that I should never look stupid in front of anyone. I should never ask a question that seems odd to someone. That I should never challenge someone because they don't see it my way. Ask yourself, where do I still carry that? Where do I kind of bury myself in my freedom of expression? That's it. Where do I bury myself in my freedom of expression? Where do you hold back on being who you are? Genuine is a whole other topic too. We'll do a video on genuineness. But we're talking about shame here. Shame will cover up genuineness, authenticity, it covers up vulnerability, it covers up the expression of who you are where somebody may not accept it, and you revert back to thinking that there's something wrong with you. That's the biggest question you could ask yourself, is that if I'm holding back, what do I tell myself in that moment of holding back, when I know the answer, or I know who I am in that expression of it, and I don't do it? You don't do it. You hold yourself back for fear of not being accepted, or not being liked, or not being approved of. Man, I don't know that all of us are people pleasers, but we're approval seekers. And I think shame says you better get their approval, because if you don't, you're not worthy. And it's not true. But you got to work through the shame in order to understand that it's not true. I can sit here and tell you till I'm blue in the face that it's not true. It's not going to matter to your heart until you start tapping into who you truly are, yourself, where it gets in, and you start remembering yourself in your mindset that no, I'm really capable. I'm really competent. I'm okay. I'm okay, and I'm going to bust through this shame of thinking that there's something wrong with me. And I'm going to have so many opportunities to do that throughout the day. And so when I lay my head on the pillow at night, I actually feel really good about the human being I am and how I express myself to the world and the gifts I bring. Man, that's healed shame like you can't believe. I'm so glad you're listening to this, because shame ignites a lot in people, and it's carried like this badge of almost a shield of protection, that if I just keep this only here, I call it the Heisman. I want you in my heart, but I'm going to keep you at arm's length, because if you really saw my heart, you really saw who I was, that level of rejection can't handle it. This is going to bust through that. So watch this video as many times as you need. Journal about what shame do I still carry. If there's one thing to work through, it would be shame, because shame will set you free if you work through it to experience all these other things that life has to offer. And that becomes a higher executive functioning of your mind. That's around your nervous system, because when you're in shame, you're at a low-grade level of fight or flight, even freeze, where you ruminate on something. And so when we can work with that and solve that and calm that down and smooth that, you're in more of your parasympathetic, your rest and digest, and then your mind goes to work for you because it doesn't feel threatened. Shame makes you your own threat. Shame makes you feel condensed, and it's your mind and your belief about yourself that's doing it. Try that on. I'd love to hear from you and let me know how it goes. Thanks.